Important notice, the voice is robotic and may vary from real sounds. All book copyrights belong to the author. Upon request, the channel will immediately remove the content. Support the authors, follow on social media, and share the knowledge. Chapter 10 What are the ugly monsters? And Chuxia, who ran away from Class A in the second year, stopped in a secluded place. Her feet were slightly sore because of running too much. She simply sat on the ground and cried as she took off her shoes. This school, why is it so big? Damn it, everything here. Does everything here include me? A familiar and unfamiliar voice came from behind herself, and she thought for a few seconds before remembering that it was the voice of the sweetheart man named Xiaomingluo. Why are you following me? She put on her shoes again and stood up, her eyes full of alertness towards him. Xiaomingluo twitched at the corner of his mouth. This was the first girl who was indifferent to his charm. I'm afraid you can't think of doing something stupid. He blinked innocently, lowered his head to find something in his pocket. It took a long time to find a tissue and hand it to Chuxia. She hesitated to take it, but finally took the tissue. Although she is very curious, Xiao, did you let me wipe my nose with this? I don't have a cold. Wipe. Wipe his nose. Such an answer seemed to completely subvert his worldview. Analyzing from his worldview, the other party should say thank you in gratitude, or throw them directly into his arms to complain, instead of saying something. Wiping your nose. After calming down his emotions, Xiaomingluo said as calmly as possible, this is to wipe your body with water. You are soaked all over. She immediately looked at Xiaomingluo with a look like a monster. Tusk, it's a pity, the young mind is stupid. Knowing that she was soaked all over, she gave her a small paper towel to dry her. What's wrong? Xiaomingluo was involuntarily looking at her with strange eyes. And Chuxia shook her head and smiled hurriedly, no, nothing. Thank you, the sun is so big, I walked back to the classroom almost completely. You can't point out in person that someone is crazy, and Chuxia, you would be rude to do so. She said to herself in her heart. If young Master Xiao knew what she was thinking, he would definitely want to find a brick and shoot herself to death on the spot. Facts have proved that the volatility of water is relatively good under the sun that has begun to enter the summer. In the 20 minutes she walked back to the classroom, her clothes and hair were almost dry. Except that the ends of the hair were a little wet to the touch, it could be said that there was no trace of wetness at all. Class A classroom for 1 year. The eldest lady asked you where you were at the table, why didn't you answer? You ugly. Maruko just asked Philia where Chuxia had gone, but Philia just stared at her blankly without answering. Because she didn't know where Chuxia went. However, she is still a person who doesn't know how to organize language, so she was hit by the bar. The dead girl still doesn't speak. She simply doesn't put me in the eye. E Mo Shao Ye was angry and picked up a book on Philia's desk and hit her on the head. Although the classmates couldn't make it through, no one dared to come forward and help. After all, E Mo Shao Ye is Master Qilu's person, and they cannot afford to offend. Don't fight. Philia cried and covered her head with her hand. But her hair was grabbed by the ball in the next second and pulled back forcefully. Don't fight anymore? Can talk now? Ugly, what the did you pull just now? Stop it all.